Before we start, I'd like to say this is an abridged version of my final project because the original will probably bore most of you, and it didn't have any of the jokes I included in this version. It's an unbiased take on the situation, and this is only for entertainment purposes, but does teach a little bit about copyright harassment and criminal threat laws and regulations. Do not harass any of the included members of the video, and if you do, I will very much seek legal action against any threats or harassment, whether or not I agree with you. All laws are going to be Alabama state laws and regulations due to my current status as a pre-law student at UAB. There once was a time when the gaming community and the AV community lived in harmony, until Quantum attacked. And now the shroud of copyright lawsuits have begun, the copyright wars have. As cheesy as that intro may have been, the ramifications of today's topics will affect everyone on the platform, creator or not. The two entering the court today will be the plaintiff, the acting male, and the defendant, Quantum Television. In this new series I'm starting called YouTube's Courtroom, I'll be covering our first lawsuit. And in this series, I, American Eagle Games, will always be unbiased and represent everyone equally. Now a little history lesson on the two parties. This all started with Quantum TV's video regarding the new Elden Ring game, in which he gave a negative review. This video was taken down soon after. Then the account owned by the one named Mischief re-uploaded his video and gave his own thoughts on Mr. Quantum TV's review. Days later, the video was taken down by said user, Mischief, after a copyright claim was issued to the user by Quantum TV. This was later followed by another video from the Act Man that also covered Quantum TV's video, which was also subsequently issued with the copyright takedown. We'll start with the plaintiffs, which are the Act Man, sitting at 1.3 million subscribers, Mischief, with 113,000 subscribers, Review Tech USA, 995,000 subscribers, and Griffin Gaming, 226,000 subscribers. These plaintiffs have accused Quantum TV of abusing the copyright system on YouTube to silence criticism of him or his YouTube channel. The charges being brought forth are 2 counts of perjury, 2 counts of criminal threats, 1 count of hate crimes, 2 counts of doxing, 1 count of cyberstalking, and 1 count of witness intimidation. The defendant, Quantum Television, sitting at 68,000 subscribers. The defendant, against these charges, has also countersued the plaintiffs for the following charges: 1 count of criminal threats, 1 count of intimidation, 1 count of hate crimes, and 1 count of conspiracy. We'll start with the plaintiff's opening statements. We sit among good men and women of the jury, and honest men who work hard to make a living with their craft. These men who review the latest and greatest games in order to educate the masses. However, among these hard-working men, there is a liar and a thief. Quantum TV is that man. He stole the hard-earned money from the plaintiffs by an unjust and unfair copyright strike in early April against Mischief, and then against the Act Man. Quantum TV also used slanderous remarks toward these righteous men online and in his Discord server. He went on a hate-filled rant against them, calling them Satan worshippers, and worst of all, liberals. Ugh. He falsified legal documents which were used to copyright claim the plaintiffs and take their money. He also made criminal threats to an oppressed group of people. He has also used aggressive tactics and intimidation towards these fine men in order to hide criticism of himself. We'll hear the defendant's opening statements. Hey, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, there are some men in the world who will lie and scheme to get whatever they want and will destroy the lives of honest, God-fearing men of the world. This reprehensible group is led by a man named the Act Man, who has threatened Mr. Quantum TV's business and personal well-being, with the many posts he has uploaded to Twitter about Mr. Q, including death threats. This man is a malicious being who only wants nothing short of ruining Mr. Quantum's life and business, and is unwilling to be reasoned with. He has sent his loyal fan base against Mr. Q with heinous threats and unbearable remarks no one should ever have to hear or read. Also, the plot to take his business down is nothing short of conspiracy and should not be taken lightly. Jury members, please look to evidence number 1. Please look to evidence number 1. and this document filled out by none other than Mr. Quantum TV to take down the Ackman's video titled "The Worst Elden Ring Hot Takes." Also, the name Quantum TV has been blurred out because we don't dox on this channel, nor do we condone it. If you return your gaze back to the document, you can see here that Mr. Quantum TV did not fill out the link to the video, nor did he insert the correct title of his own original video. Under Alabama law, this constitutes fraudulent misrepresentation. You can see this more clearly if the court could pull up evidence number 2 for the jury. There you can see labeled, "Thanks to my client the Ackman." You can see the lack of necessary details in the document to perform a copyright takedown. And even if he did put in the correct information, it would not matter because the platform of which the video was uploaded has denied the copyright claim, and has found no reason in which the video should be taken down. If the court would be so diligent to provide evidence number 4 for the jury. In evidence number 4, you can very clearly see as day that YouTube, the platform where both the video from Quantum TV and the video from the Ackman was uploaded, has the responsibility to react immediately on DMCA takedowns, has denied Quantum TV's request, and has found 0 copyright infringements in the Ackman's video. In the timestamps from 10:02 to 29:30, there were 0 copyright infringements found. Also, under YouTube's own fair use policy, the nature in which Mr. Quantum's video was used falls under criticism of his own video. The Ackman criticizes Mr. Q's video and his own points in the video that it would be safe from any copyright loss. Since there are no copyrighted material found in the video, it is fair to say that under Alabama state laws, his video is protected by fair use. Objection! Mr. Quantum TV's intellectual property was stolen. Under YouTube's terms of service, Mr. Ackman's video had broken 3 main rules, seen here in evidence number 15. The monetization of said video by the Ackman and his blatant use and disregard for Quantum's property is in clear violation of YouTube's own TOS. And the illegal downloading of YouTube's video is also breaking the TOS. On copyrighted material such as Mr. Quantum's Elden Ring review, despite the common myth that if you only use 10 to 30 seconds of a clip, then it cannot be copyright claimed. This is completely false. Nowhere in YouTube's TOS, even under the section, "Your Content and Conduct," seen here in evidence number 13, where it specifically covers the use of copyright and copyright infringement, it does not give a grace period or time space allotted for content creators to use copyrighted material. Also, under Alabama state law regarding copyright and DMCA, according to the Alabama Secretary of State, the common law of Alabama states that once you adopt and use a mark and are documented as the first to use such mark, you are entitled to exclusive rights to that mark. Since the plaintiff did not ask for permission to use Mr. Quantum's video and clips from said video, that is in clear violation of both Alabama state law and YouTube's own TOS. I bring to the court today the many damning pieces of evidence of criminal threats brought before my client, Mr. Quantum TV, from the Ackman. As the jury can see in this slanderous statement made by the Ackman in evidence number 16. You can see here, after a brief conversation between my client and the Ackman's mother, for some reason, but anyway, you can see here, and I quote, "If we see you, Quantum, we shoot on sight." We shoot on sight. Does that sound like a man who's doing good for the community, like he says in his videos? Objection! This is speculation, as you can clearly see in evidence number 17. The Ackman was referring to if someone is sent by, or if Quantum himself shows up to his house, he would be willing to defend himself and those he lives with. This is clearly protected under the First and Second Amendment under the guise of self-preservation. As you can clearly see here, he thought that Mr. Quantum was clearly a threat. Objection! This is prejudice. In evidence number 18, he's doing a call to action which is not protected by the First or Second Amendment. This is clearly a call to action which cannot be protected by the Second Amendment of self-preservation. He's clearly having a call to action from his followers to act and harass Quantum TV. In evidences 19, 20, and 21, seen here, his followers are acting as if they're ready to go out and hunt Quantum TV using firearms and the pistol plus BR combo. I prefer the BXR, to be honest. And worst of all, evidence number 22. Referring to a follower and fan of the Act Man making a post on Twitter about throwing Quantum TV into a wood chipper. Listen, this is me talking right now. The death threats is one thing, but throwing someone into a wood chipper, Jesus Christ, bro, relax. And not once did the Act Man condemn these heinous and blatant death threats to Mr. Quantum TV. Listen, Act Man, I'm a fan of you, but this is starting to get a little out of hand, and I know you have the power to do this. Please, do condemn that. I know you have the power to shut it down. Please. I believe in you. And I know that he was calling your mom. I get it. But still, you have a job to do, and you have to shut those down. Now, after that tangent, Jesus Christ, that was dark. The call made by the defendant, Mr. Quantum TV, to the Act Man's mother was very much harassment according to Alabama's laws referring to harassment in Section 13A-11-8A. Communicating with a person by phone, mail, social media messaging, or any other form of communication in a manner likely to harass or cause alarm. This did cause alarm to the Act Man's mother, as you can see that she is uncomfortable in the text that she sent to the plaintiff in evidence number 23. She calls him a nut and tells her son, the Act Man, to be safe, meaning that she is in fear and feels that Mr. Quantum could be of danger to her or her son or anyone else related to her or near her. With all the evidence presented to the jury, we will ask those who watched until the end to please form your own opinion based on the law and not loyalties. This is a court of law, not of celebrities, not of politics. We ask that you can clearly give a coherent reason as to why you believe the plaintiff, the Act Man, Mischief, Griffin Gaming, or Review Tech USA are guilty or not guilty on one count of copyright infringement. The Act Man, Mischief, Griffin Gaming, Review Tech USA are guilty or not guilty on one count of criminal threats. Now, we ask that you clearly give a coherent reason as to why you believe the defendant, Quantum Television, is guilty or not guilty of one count of fraudulent misrepresentation or copyright abuse. Now we ask that you clearly give a coherent reason as to why you believe Quantum Television is guilty or not guilty of one count of harassment. Unfortunately, I have my own many mixed feelings about the matter. On one hand, the Act Man's behavior is extremely inappropriate, and Quantum TV, although it's his material, should never have taken down any of those videos. Although yes, it possibly could stand in court, it wouldn't stand in every court. That's the best part of the judicial system, in my opinion. Every court outcome is different, and every case is always looked at like a brand new case with no precedent, especially with copyright laws. And if I may leave some advice for both parties, dear Act Man, clean up your behavior on Twitter. It's very much hurting your image and your ability to stand against those who abuse copyright laws. And a lot of people agree with me. Even your own followers on your Twitter. I can see the replies. And I know you can too. To Quantum TV, you should never have issued a takedown. Although whether or not it would stand in court is debatable, and that's the whole point of the video. But if you would have issued a harassment charge, you would have been right. Because it could have been harassment. I believe it was. But copyright striking someone is very much unfair, and it's a very unfair tactic that can be abused very easily. And that's why a lot of people label you as a copyright abuser. I have a feeling that you did it from a place of good intention, because you were protecting yourself, but the way you went about it was wrong. And hopefully in the future, you can choose to do much better, and I know you can. Now I'm going to address both parties. I wish you the best of luck, and if you're willing to reach out to me, that'd be fantastic. Also, I hope you both are able to sit down at a neutral place and stand on even ground and talk this out like men. Not over Twitter, not over YouTube, not over Discord. Sit it down, talk it out like men. You guys can do this. I know you can. I've seen you both do it in the past before. I know you can. And until next time, guys, stay safe, everyone.